with the chemical action research designs. I want to ask you before our start discussion about action research design. Uh, Action research designs. Have you ever action research designs? Yeah, I want to explain action research designs in chapter 17. Okay. In this action research designs, we will to now this action research design to talking about define the purpose and use of action research and describe types of action research design, identify the characteristics of action research, describe the step in conducting an action research study, and then at the end, list criteria for evaluating an action research study. Okay, we start from what is action research. In action research, we know action research is systematic inquiry done by teachers or other individuals in an educational setting to gather information about and subsequently develop the ways their particular educational setting operates, how they teach, and how well their students learn. Okay, next. When we use action research, when you have an educational problem to solve, and then when educators want to reflect on their own practices, when we want to address school-wide problems, when teachers want to improve their practice, and when educators want to participate in research project. And how action research developed? In action research developed since 1970 until 2000, you can see this action research, how to develop in action research. Why action research is important? Encourage change in the schools, fosters and democratic approach to education, empowers individuals through collaboration on projects, and then position teachers and other educators as learners who seek to narrow the gap between practice and their vision of education. And then encourage educators to reflect on their practice. The first is practical and then participatory. Practical action research, you can see this this slide. Yeah, this is the practical action research. Okay, features of participatory action research. In features of participatory action research, the first is deliberate exploration of a relationship between the individual and others. And next, participatory, people conduct studies on themselves. Practical and collaborative, emancipatory, helps individuals free themselves from constraints found in media, language, work procedures, and power relationship. And then reflexive or dialectical, focus on bringing about change in practice. Now you can see this Springer's action research interacting spiral. There's think, look, and act. Okay. Next, the key characteristic of action research. There are three key characteristics of action research. The first, a practical focus. In a practical modules, we can to learn characteristic in of action research. In a practical focus, researchers study practical issues that will have immediate benefits to teachers, school, and communities. Secondly, the educator researchers on practice. Self-reflective research by the educator researchers turns the lens on their own educational classroom, school, or practices. And, and the last, collaboration between stakeholders. Next, this is the collaboration from collaborative team. You can see there is teachers, student, community stakeholders, staff, parent, and administrator. The key characteristics of action research. The first, dynamic process, a plan of action, and sharing research. Step in conducting action research. There are 4 steps in conducting action research. The firstly, determine of if action research is the best design to use. Next, identify the problem to study, locate resources to help address the problem, and identify the information you will need. This means the problem is only the phase in which to enter. First, identify the problem, collecting data, evaluating existing data, and taking action. You can see the taxonomy of action research, data collection techniques. There is experiencing and examining. And at the last, acquiring. Okay. Step in action in conducting action research continue from the first until 4. This is number 5. Implement the data collection, analyze the data, develop a plan for action, implement the plan, and reflect. Evaluating action research. The first is, does the project clearly address a problem or issue in practice that need to be solved? Secondly, did the action researcher collect sufficient data to address to the problem? Did the action researcher collaborate with others during the study? Was there respect for all collaborators? Next, did the plan of action advanced by the researcher built logically from the data? And the last, is there evidence that the plan of action contribute to the researcher's reflection as a professional? Okay, this is a collective collection data contributed by the first. Has the research enhanced the lives of the participants by empowering them, changing them, or providing them with new understanding? And then, did the action research actually lead to change, or did a solution to a problem make a difference? And last, was the action research reported to the audience who might use the information? Okay, I think that's all. I hope you understand from this presentation. And if you have any comment or question, please visit our website in first view. I think that's all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.